Talk tell you.
Wow.
Be a fan.
In the 20.
Okay, I think. I mean, Piers Morgan doesn't care if people react to his content, so should be good now. I just gotta at the YouTube chat. I forgot to do that. I don't care about the short stream right now. All right, I think we're good. Think we're good. Think we're good. Think we're good. There we go. All right. He is not Hitler. Is calling Trump fascist the October surprise. I think I did see that the clip of Kamala Harris doing that. We'll see. I trust David Pakman to steelman the case for doing it at the very least.
The October surprise in the 2024 presidential race may simply be there is no surprise because nothing can surprise us anymore. This week, John Kelly, a White House chief of staff under Donald Trump, claimed the former president is a fascist.
Well, I'm looking at the definition of fascism. It's a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy. So certainly, in my experience, those are the types of things that will work better in terms of running America.
Well, Kamala Harris addressed that in an extraordinary statement.
True. Didn't even he said Trump said he wanted generals like Hitler to him, right? To John Kelly, to generals like Hitler, Trump, or was it to?
And incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is. This is a window into who
asked John Kelly's former chief of staff, why can't you be like the German generals?
Donald Trump really is. From the people who know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room.
In bygone years, that kind of intervention might well have met the criteria for a seismic October news event with the power to move a needle and dead heat. But not anymore. Trump has taken so much incoming fire, in some cases quite literally. He's starting to look a bit like Superman. Bullets are rebounding off his chest like ping pong balls, and that's because the market for shocking claims about Donald Trump is pretty saturated. Once you've been called the new Hitler again and again, well, the rest kind of doesn't touch the sides. It's all been overfed and overstuffed like a prime goose.
Thank you, Piers Morgan. Yeah, that's what he looked like. He looked like Superman.
About him, but most voters now will find even remotely surprising or shocking. The Democrats need to move away from the dictatorship and democracy narrative in the wake of the Butler shooting, but that's back with venom. And President Joe Biden's entered the race for this year's hypocritical Black Pot Award.
It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We gotta lock him up.
Wow. Political prosecution owned.
Politically, he said desperately when he realized what he'd said. He didn't mean that, though, did he? He meant literally. Kamala Harris, meanwhile, is still struggling to distance herself from Biden's disrepute and from the coup that unseated him.
You never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him? It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely, that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket. Well, you'd have to ask him if that's the only reason why. What do you think? I'm running for president of the United States.
Embarrassing. I compare that squirming awkwardness with the way Donald
Didn't
Trump...
he, I remember, didn't Biden go on The View and explain why? He was like, I found myself with more time. I mean, obviously there was concerns with the fucking donors who weren't donating unless he dropped out and Kamala Harris took over. But like, didn't he say, I had more time, I had time to think, and I was like, Kamala Harris can probably win. I'm pretty sure that internal reporting also said as such. Like, Biden basically changed his mind. He didn't think Kamala Harris could win until his aides were like, she can probably do fine. So, also, Trump did also, call Kamala Harris a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. So,
Kamala Harris, I use that term because you know what that term means, right? Communist. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a
answers questions. In this clip, he slams Harris for taking a day off to prepare for that very NBC interview.
And I was going to hit her really hard.
Hey, sorry. Can you do the cat litter?
Yeah.
Thanks.
On the trail today, but now I don't have to because she's off. She's off. No, I can't get over it. Who the hell takes off? We have 14 days left, and she'll take a couple of more days off too. You know why? She's lazy as hell, and she's got that reputation. She's a radical left lunatic. She's further left than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas.
True.
Because I think...
It's very liberating to be able to say exactly what you're thinking, as Trump does 24/7. Believe me, I know that feeling. Donald Trump's appearance on Joe Rogan now appears to be confirmed for Friday. I think it'll be riveting. He can sit and talk freely for hours.
Well, let's see if he cancels it.
Donors, voters, friends, or advertisers. That's why Joe Rogan is the #1 podcast in the world. Can Kamala Harris really do the same? If she follows Trump now onto the biggest podcast in the world, as some reports suggest she will, that'll be the biggest surprise in October for me. Well, to debate all this, I'm joined by the chairman of O'Leary Ventures and Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary, Brandon Tatum, host of The Office of Tatum, Marianne Williamson, who challenged Biden and Harris for the Democrat nomination.
Why is Marianne Williamson here? Why are we still taking her seriously?
David Pakman show, David Pakman. Well, welcome to all of you. Kevin O'Leary, I'm just getting a feeling like I had in 2016 that this is Trump's to lose now. What's your feeling telling you?
Well, you know, and I get this data pretty well every morning, there's 43 counties in 7 states. 45% of the population hates Trump, and 45% of the population loves Trump. And so we're down to this 10% that's floating. And that's why you're seeing these candidates go to these counties. At least they were very intensely last week, and I expect they will this week as well. My guess is this is going to be an extraordinary election outcome because it may be decided by less than 10,000 votes. And so, you know, it's very hard. You know, there's a lot of media attention around momentum each side each week, and Kamala's having a bad week right now, according to media, but that's not what the polls are telling me. The polls are telling me within the margin of error of 1.7 to 3.2%, you can't bet. And I'm in the business of betting. If I knew a certainty Trump was going to win, I would be going long energy right now at 6 and 7 P stocks. I'd be putting a huge amount of money into U.S. energy stocks, and I can't get any of my fellow investors to go with me there yet. We simply don't know.
Yeah, Marianne Williamson, it is incredibly tight. And there are obviously bigger picture questions about why American elections now come down to literally a few thousand votes in a few counties and a few swing states. It does seem absurd for a nation as big and powerful as America that this keeps happening.
It's true. You know what? Maybe we should get rid of the Electoral College. But you guys all got mad at Tim Walsh when he said that one.
For Democrats, it's way too close for comfort. And there should be a sign to the Harris administration to do something different in these next 2 weeks. What they need to do different in the next 2 weeks is to stop talking so much about Donald Trump. They seem more obsessed with Donald Trump than they seem obsessed with gaining power in order to improve the lives of the average American. They need to be talking to the average American, not about Donald Trump. People know who he is.
Okay. I mean, Donald Trump's kind of bad, though. Have we considered that one? Like, you know, a lot of people hate him, and maybe I don't know. Like clearly, like all the. He's just worse on like almost everything. Yeah, absolutely should be attacking him.
And many people who know who he is are going to vote for him anyway because they feel that that's how their lives will be improved. Kamala Harris needs to be talking to American people about the fact that over half our bankruptcies are medical bankruptcies, about medical insurance and how many are underinsured. She needs to be talking to people who are selling their blood plasma or skipping meals in order to make it. She needs to be talking to people about the fact that they can't live on just one job. The things that she's going to.
I mean, she's proposed to her opportunity economy. I feel like she's been pretty good on this, but all right.
Make things better. Talking to them about their lives and talking less about Donald Trump. That's why he's eating her alive in certain ways, and they have got to make a fundamental change over the next 2 weeks if they want to win.
Kamala Harris is at the vice president's residence.
Also, that's not even like literally they've closed the gap on like on the economy thing, especially like I don't know if I bookmarked it, but there's like polling done. Yeah, I didn't bookmark it. Maybe I liked it. That shows. I mean, their current approach. Here it is. Who do you trust more to handle each of the following issues? Taxes. Harris is now above Trump on because she's attacked Trump on their tariffs so much. Interest rates, which, I mean, that's President doesn't really control that, although Donald Trump wants to, so they should absolutely trust Harris way more. Housing costs, they trust Harris more because of our housing stuff. Cost of everyday goods is just about tied. Healthcare cost, they trust Harris on more. I don't think Trump has said anything about healthcare. Harris... I mean, at least Harris has a record to run on of like, oh, the Inflation Reduction Act increased a lot of subsidies to ACA marketplace health insurance plans, and maybe we should continue doing that. That's what she's proposing. So
she's making another address about Donald Trump, and she's invoking the whole Hitler narrative because of what General Kelly said about Trump being fascist and him talking about Hitler's generals being loyal and so on. And I think it's such a ridiculous act of self-harm to constantly compare, well, A, to talk openly about your opponent, as you say, but also to keep comparing him to the most genocidal monster that the modern world has ever seen. Because even if you hate Trump with a passion, he's not Adolf Hitler. So most people in the middle who are not tribally attached to one side of the go, well, he's not Hitler, and they're not the Nazis. So if you're going to call him this all the time, it puts me off.
Well, I personally don't think that the comparison to fascism is illegitimate at all. My problem is the fact that John Kelly, every day he remained in the White House, legitimized the Trump presidency. The time to talk about all this was years ago.
Well, she is hating on John Kelly now. Listen, he's saying it now, okay? I'll take what I can get.
And it's just kind of like, oh, he's not Hitler. He was president before. We survived. Our democracy survived. And once again, like you're saying, it's not working. Stop talking about Trump, talk about voters and what they need and the America that we could create, that the Democratic Party should stand for over the next 4 years. That's what she should be hammering every single hour of every single day over the next 2 weeks.
Right, but Brandon Tatum, here's the problem. I don't think she knows how to articulate what her vision for America is. Every time I've seen any long, more substantive interview with her where she's asked about what she really has planned to run the country, she just falls apart. I mean, I'm not against her. I met her once. She's perfectly nice. She's obviously intelligent, done very well with herself, excellent in the Senate and so on and so on. But at some point, if you're going to run the United States of America, the leader of the free world, you've got to articulate actually what you're going to do. And she just cannot do that in a way that, to me, is resonating at all.
Are you kidding me? We're still making this criticism, dude.
Well, Piers, I'll tell you this.
What would be enough for you? What would be enough for you at this point? I feel like she's elaborated. Like, she put out her whole 80-page policy document on just her economic policy. Like, she has her issues page on her website. She's done interviews with Fox. She's done interviews with 60 Minutes. Interviews that, like, she did the CNN town hall. Are you kidding me?
A wise man has said, you can never trust a person that promises you something that they're going to do tomorrow that they could have done yesterday. These people...
Are you kidding me? Now we're doing this. She's the vice president, most active vice president in history. Not everyone can do everything they want to do in one term, especially because Congress has been divided. Some of what she wants to do is going to be reliant on getting added congressional seats. I'm pretty sure she has said as much, but...
in office and they've been fake.
Also, like, can you not just... I don't get it. Like, can you not just run on continuing the policy you've currently done versus Trump, who wants to stop doing a lot of the policy that you've already done? Like, Trump has said, like, he wants to repeal parts of the Inflation Reduction Act that, like, are investments in climate energy. Can you not even just run on, like, not repealing that? Like, really?
Donald Trump
is that illegitimate to do even?
In office as well. If he was going to be a fascist, if he was going to take over the country, he's going to be a dictator, he's going to be Hitler, then he'd already been Hitler. So you could believe.
What did he try to do on January 6th? What did he try to get the DOJ to do? He tried to get the DOJ to investigate a ton of people that he didn't like. Like, he went on, what was it? Did he go on Fox and Friends and say we should investigate Hillary Clinton? I think it was, he went on some show to do it. But, like, really? Like,
for what their track record has shown. And I think Donald Trump actually has a plan for the people. And I think it's genuine.
Also, the lies, the repeated nonstop lies about the 2020 election and about immigrants eating cats and dogs.
He's
like,
connecting. He's not connecting because he's so brilliant. He's an older man. He's slowing down. He's connected because he genuinely believes it. Not Hillary Clinton, but Kamala Harris is not connected because they don't really care. I do not believe they care about the middle class people. I don't think they really care about the individuals who are struggling or suffering.
Versus Trump, who wants to do 10 or 20% tariff. Do you want to even really commit to a number?
And things that they
that's
actually
really going to help the middle class?
They do not have a plan for you. And I wish that America would wake up. The only reason that they're
Trump, this is what's insane. Like, Trump's economic policy, like, basically all he says is drill, baby, drill. And he says, and tariffs. He won't even commit to a specific number for tariffs. Oh, and no tax and tips, which I guess Harris is also committed to. Okay? He runs around like a toddler saying, I don't want to tax tips. I don't want to tax overtime. I don't want to tax Social Security, because he knows if he just says, I don't want to tax this, then those people might end up voting for him because they don't like paying their taxes on whatever. But Kamala Harris has her whole 82-page policy book on just economic policy. It's not even any of the foreign policy stuff. Not anything, dude. Trump won't elaborate on foreign policy either. All he says is, I will have the war in Ukraine ended when I'm president-elect. But I can't say how, because then it won't come true. He is also probably, dude, he's probably violating the fucking Logan Act with Netanyahu, but I don't know. Maybe that'll be investigated in the future. We'll see.
Donald Trump is because of propaganda. Major news outlets are just pumping lies. I see them every day. Lies about abortion, lies about Trump sending the military against the American people. I mean, it's just straight lies that they're pushing. That's the only reason.
I'm pretty sure Trump has said that he does want to send the military against, not American people, but against the undocumented immigrants, right? I'm assuming that's what they're referring to.
I saw you laughing there, David. Here's what I would say before I let you respond. The reaction to Trump going to McDonald's was fascinating to watch from here across the pond.
Are you kidding me?
I can't think of a smarter stunt, frankly. Given all the furore over whether Kamala ever did actually work at McDonald's, and honestly, from everything I've read, I don't think she did. Because absolutely no one can remember her ever being there. But putting that to one side, he goes there and he does this stunt. But it's, McDonald's is such an iconic piece of Americana. It's the kind of all-inclusive place where everyone can afford to go there. Pretty much anyone could end up running a franchise if you work hard enough. And
can't afford to go there after Joe Biden inflation.
And there he is in his hat, having fries and fries, handing out packages. And yet all I saw from the left was a lot of scorn and mockery, as if somehow him doing this was something to be laughed at. I did not see it that way. I thought this was really smart politics by Trump. And actually what the Democrats should have done was just very quickly move on and find something better.
I mean, the reason like I laughed at it's just goofy. It's just goofy to see him because he acts like a fucking dumb. He can't speak intelligently. He's goofy in general, and like seeing him work at McDonald's is just goofy. That's the reason it was funny to me, at least.
Like,
but
they think this is somehow all rather demeaning because that's not how regular Americans would have seen it. Discuss.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I spoke about this 5 minutes on Monday, and I've moved on, so I agree with you. I mean, I'm only talking about it now because you brought it up. I don't think it was as brilliant as maybe you're suggesting. You know, they closed down a store and hurt that store financially on that day in terms of sales. And Trump, at the end of the day, saw it as something to help him. If he had gone there, well, hold on a second. I'm one sentence in. If he had gone there and said, I put on the apron, I did the fry-o-later, and now I recognize that a $7.25 minimum wage, which has been the same almost 20 years, isn't going to cut it. That would have been really interesting and shown he cares about someone other than himself. Instead, it was about rehearsed drive-through and wearing the apron.
You see,
and
David, here's the problem.
Are
you familiar?
$15 an hour
David,
minimum wage.
are you familiar with the phrase clutching at straws? I hope that's.
I'm sorry.
Are you fucking kidding me,
dude? Does the
dude?
phrase clutching at straws cross the pond in a way that you understand?
Piers, you brought this topic up.
No, what I'm saying is, you saying the only way it could work would be if Trump banged on about the minimum wage. You're missing the point. I mean, I'll bring back Kevin here because you're a business guy. You're an entrepreneur.
He's not gonna let her. Okay,
Just
whatever.
As a pure bit of political theatre. I thought he was genius, utter genius. Honestly, I did.
Really? This is what's important. You're not gonna let David Pakman respond to any of the other like bullshit things that like this dude said and like you said earlier.
This, material is seen in 15, 30, 45-second visual bites. And I think for him, it worked. I mean, yeah, people are talking about the fact that Secret Service had to check out the people in the car that took the bag. But I don't think the majority of people that watch that on TikTok or Instagram give a damn. And I think these things are viral for about 30 hours. My team monitors all this stuff because we're involved in the same kind of social media for many companies. And it really worked. It got a tremendous amount of views. And so it's already burned off and we're on to the next thing. But Trump has become masterful at mastering the art of holding on to viral videos for longer than almost anybody else. And some of the things he says are outrageous, and people have known him now for 6 to 9 years.
That's one way to
and
put
if you
it.
hate him, you hate him. It just doesn't matter at this point. You know, I have the same divide in my own family. I mean, I got a family cut in half. I have to listen to this stuff every night at dinner as one side blasts the other. But that is the American kitchen table today. And I would say one thing about this that people should start considering, because the outcome, as we've been discussing, is unknown, but we're just literally days away. I think the takeaway from this election that is going to be looked at for a long time if the Democrats lose, and the history that will be made, is circumventing the democratic system by actually not allowing the democracy to choose the next leader after Biden was stepped aside or was pushed aside, whatever you want to call it, would be a huge mistake.
Oh my God.
Because she was not a successful candidate in 2019. She was not a successful candidate in 2020. And if she's not a successful candidate now, it'll be because the same reason that 88% of investment advisors can't beat the S&P 500, Obama can't beat the index that is made by his own democracy, his own Democratic convention. He picked her. Maybe Hillary Clinton picked her. Maybe some movie stars picked her. We simply don't know. She was anointed, and if she fails, it's their fault.
Yeah.
And they're going to own it. And it happened to Hillary Clinton, too. I remember I was there in Pittsburgh when she was anointed, and Bruce Springsteen sat on the stage and sang about, boy, she's going to be great while she's president. And she got smoked.
Yep.
And that she was also an anointment. So I think that's got to stop. They got to stop trying to pick stocks and let the actual party decide.
Yeah, I mean, Marianne, just hold fire for a moment. I want to bring in another guest just briefly. This is Bo Loudon, who's described by Vanity Fair this week.
No, please let David Pakman respond, dude.
Behind Donald Trump's podcast offensive. Well, Bo, great to have you on Uncensored. I've got to say, I've been very, very struck by the sheer volume of very different kind of media stuff that Trump's been doing, culminating, of course, in...
Dude, how many things has Trump canceled at this point? He canceled the CNN town hall. He canceled the 60 Minutes interview. He canceled the... There's another thing he canceled. I'm pretty sure he's canceled like 4 or 5 of these fucking things.
Joe Rogan on Friday, but some other interesting ones, some that wouldn't be that well known, perhaps to people who are not in that podcast community and so on. And you're apparently one of the driving forces behind this. So what's the strategy?
Trump cancels again, this time on RFK Jr. During a media event, he pulled out interviews with 60 Minutes, NBC, CNBC. Recently shut down a town hall event. Like, yeah.
Well, I think the strategy is reaching an audience that maybe isn't being recognized, or an audience that loves Trump and they're just not being acknowledged. And of course, it's funny because every time Trump does something, Kamala Harris follows right along and tries to do the same thing. I'm sure she'll try to go on Joe Rogan. And of course, Joe Rogan obviously picked President Trump before he picked her. So that was great. And I would like to say that I hope I helped set that up too. I definitely talked to some people about that. But I think it's great, and I think it's reaching those audiences that aren't being reached, and a whole generation that is tired of being kicked around, tired of being told that we're stupid by Kamala Harris, and tired of just sitting there feeling like we don't have a president that cares about us. We want to be able to afford groceries. We want to be able to buy our first houses. So I think it's great. I think that's why Trump's doing this type.
What is Trump? Are you kidding me? What does Trump want to do to bring? I was going to say bring grocery prices down. It's dumb to bring grocery prices down. He should just want wages to continue outpacing inflation. It's dumb to actually try to cause deflation. But like, what does Trump want to do? Trump wants to do tariffs, buddy. Okay, so that's not going to help with anything. Drill, baby, drill. I mean, might help with something in the short term, but like clearly the future of energy is going to be in clean energy. That stuff is only going to get cheaper. It's actually already beating fossil fuels. I saw it. Like solar is beating coal right now. I think wind too is also cheaper than coal. Like clearly, this is where the future lies, whether we like it or not, because other countries are also going to be investing in clean energy. We're going to be behind the curve on switching to renewables. But if Trump repeals like the parts of the IRA, what's the other thing? Oh, affording housing. Trump is like. Kamala Harris is explicitly YIMBY. One, she wants to build new homes, and two, she wants to give people money to buy those new homes. Like
things, and as you can see, when he does them, it blows up on the internet, and everyone's talking about it, left or right, because it's very interesting, and it's something that no other president has done in history. And he's known for these kind of things. He's known for being the first of everything. So,
yeah, it is interesting because I've known him a long time, and I've had long conversations with him. What's interesting to me is the format of these longer form podcasts really suits it, because actually in that environment he relaxes. He can be very funny, very entertaining. He can be very charming. We didn't see a lot of that.
He does to weave. He rambles incoherently for an hour. Yep.
Tenure in office because he preferred to be the kind of big tough.
I don't get it. He will criticize. What's up, Lucana? Welcome back. He'll criticize Kamala Harris for doing like word salad stuff, but like when Trump goes on podcast and like rambles so incoherently that he has to say, I call it the weave. I just weave back and forth between topics. That's somehow good. Piers Morgan is somehow praising that.
Chief, and also because the format of the media he did is a bit more wham bam.
Trump's show podcast, they know he won't push him on anything. I know. I do like the one guy who I forget his name by now. He's like, what happened to Mike Pence? What happened to that guy?
I think it plays to his strengths, which a lot of people who don't like him won't want to see. But I've always said, look, he has a very charming, funny side to him, and these podcasts are definitely bringing that out.
Yep, 100%, and that's why he's up 11 points among Latino voters. He's up another 2 points among Arab voters, and he's dominating in the polls. And
yeah, up 2 points among Arab voters. That's depressing. But
Kamala Harris and her whole campaign is sweating in their boots trying to find out what interviews they can get on. Then she just goes on Brett Baer and completely embarrasses herself. So I'd love to see both Kamala and President Trump come on your show as well and talk to you. And we know you hit them with some hard balls, and it'd be easy because Trump would pass them off. He knows how to take hard questions. Yeah. He knows how to answer them. He knows how to defend himself.
He doesn't answer any hard questions. Like he had a horrible answer when people asked him like what his actual plan for like reducing the cost of child care was. He won't even commit to a number on tariffs. When people asked him, Trump either doesn't know what a tariff is or keeps lying about them. More likely keeps lying about them because I'm sure he's had 20 different economists tell him that in fact China doesn't pay tariffs. American businesses and consumers pay tariffs. He won't even he just said well I forget the exact question he got asked where he's like I say 100% 200%. It's a figure of speech. He doesn't even have a plan.
Goes and sits there and she can't tell you what ROI is. Like she knows it.
Have you ever seen the table sketch from I Think You Should Leave? Table sketch. I don't know. I've seen I Think You Should Leave. So probably, but I don't know what the I don't know what the table sketch is. I don't know which one that refers to.
Well, he did promise me last week he would do another interview with me. So if you're the driving force behind the podcast machinery, Bo, I expect you to put a good word in after this very interview.
We'll do. I got you, Piers.
Donald Trump uncensored. I mean, who wouldn't want to hear that? Talk to me just quickly about Barron Trump. I don't know much about Barron. I've met him a few times when I was doing The Apprentice.
Why are we talking about that? Please let David Pakman respond to all the nonsense you just said. I don't care about Barron Trump. I really don't.
You're good mates of his. It can't be easy, having been Barron the last few years. But how influential has he been, do you think, in his dad's ear with some of this stuff? Because I'd imagine rather
like Trump is terrorists. Yeah, true.
My sons, who are all in their 20s, they listen to all this stuff all the time.
Yeah, I think he's definitely playing a hand. And that's because, unlike the media will tell you, President Trump is very close with his children. They all love him. He calls them regularly.
No question.
I'll be on the phone with someone.
Why?
And he'll be 5 minutes.
Dude, conservatives don't care about this. Every single phone call between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, where Biden said, hey, son, I love you very much. Son, no, I love you more than anything. And you have to get help for your drug addiction. They made fun of that. They used that against Biden. Are you kidding me?
before he goes on stage to speak, and he's calling his kids, asking how they're doing, asking if they're watching. So he's very close with his kids, and I think Barron, he's in my age group. He knows who's popular at this time. He knows. So when he talks to his dad, he tells him, hey, I think you should go on with this guy. I think it'd be really great. His dad listens, and he's able to play a hand in that too. And he's very smart. He knows his history. He knows his politics. He's very educated, very very well mannered, very well raised kid. He's a good kid for sure. So
tell him.
he's
I
working
remember
at college now. He's doing his.
Tell Barron,
work.
I remember him when I was doing The Apprentice back in 2008, and I was very nice to him then. Time for him to return the favour. I need the Bo and Barron double header to get him on. And I would love to do Kamala Harris too, by the way. I think it'd be great. On relation to Joe Rogan.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it'd be great. Joe Rogan is due to take place on Friday, and I imagine will air pretty soon after that. That's the big one. Joe Rogan, I mean, I've got a clip here I want to play you just because it's funny. But it's a Joe Rogan saying you never had Trump on. Take a listen.
By the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help him. I'm not interested in helping him.
I mean, that's an interesting perspective because he's now having him on, and it will help Donald Trump. What do you think's changed?
Well, maybe his numbers are
free
dropping a
money.
bit, Maybe he needs some of that clout. He sees that Trump is going on all these other shows, and they're gaining millions of followers just for having him on. And it's the biggest episode they've ever done. He has the record for the #1 stream of all time when he did it with Aiden Ross. So I think maybe Joe's...
Is that... No shot that's true. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. The #1 stream, #1 kick stream, maybe.
Like, I want some of this clout. And also, I think Joe sees what an embarrassment Kamala Harris is. You can watch his podcast. He talks a lot about her and how embarrassing she is. I didn't think we could get someone, that was more mentally handicapped than Joe Biden that can't put a sentence together. But boy, I was wrong.
Oh my God.
It's really embarrassing. I think Joe gets that, and I think that's why he wants to have President Trump on now, because he understands, it's good. And I hope he gives Trump some hardballs, and I hope it's good. But I think it'll be a very great interview. And you know what? I do hope he has Kamala Harris on too, because that will also be very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. They should all do
see.
it. Bo, hang with us. We're just going to keep you on the panel for a bit. We're going to Marianne. It is very interesting, Marianne. I think Trump's strategy with the media this time round compared to the last 2 times that he's run, very different, much younger, many more of these podcasts. I think it's really effective. And it may not be obvious to people, particularly if they're just lassoed to mainstream media. But as someone whose own sons in their 20s consume a lot of this stuff, this is a big deal. When Trump does things like Joe Rogan, it's going to be massive and potentially a big vote winner for him.
Absolutely. He's going after his base. And Kamala Harris should be going after her base. She's making many people in her base feel like they don't matter. When you're out there talking more with Liz Cheney than talking to people who, are thinking about the progressive issues that have been so important and core to the Democratic electorate, they're talking already about the problem that they could have with Jill Stein, just like they had in 2016. And yet they are ignoring the concerns of the people who just might vote for Jill Stein, almost acting as though they're embarrassed because they're always reacting to Donald Trump. Donald Trump says that she's left of Pocahontas. The Democrats should be running on that. Well, we don't know what Pocahontas' politics are, but we believe in this or we believe in that. There are too many people.
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know if that would appeal to more people. I really don't think Americans are that progressive on most things. And we're seeing the rightward shift in immigration for most Americans. Literally half of Americans support fucking mass deportations, dude.
Even what they're talking about with their black agenda, their Latina agenda, it comes across patronizing. It comes across almost condescending. Why aren't they talking about criminal justice? Why aren't they talking about mass incarceration, the numbers of black men and Latino men who are filling up America's jails? Donald Trump is talking to people who could vote for him, who feel passionately about the issues that he is talking about. People will go for false hope before they'll go for no hope. Kamala needs to get out there and talk to her base, not just to people who might be disaffected Republicans.
I think you're so right. Brandon, I do think this is right. I think the problem for Kamala Harris is she got parachuted in to this gig, coronated, in a weird way, where I thought it would have helped the Democrats a lot more if they had a proper brokered convention where other people threw their hat in the ring and they jinked it out. It would have toughened her up perhaps for the battle against Trump. What do you think about that? You think they should have allowed others to
Why are we still on about this?
Maybe get involved in a race against her to replace Biden?
Yeah, Pierce, 100%. First of all, she shouldn't have been an affirmative action hire the first time. They should have gotten a qualified black woman that was very successful, very intelligent, that can add value to the presidency when Joe Biden chose his running mate. They didn't. They just picked a black woman. And I think they picked the wrong one. And then you go down the list and say, okay, now that Joe Biden dropped out at the 11th hour, they just put her in there. She's incredibly unpopular. She's incredibly unintelligent. This woman is a terrible candidate. She laughs and she cannot articulate a clear sentence about her policy positions. And then she gets on the campaign trail and runs on, I'm a woman.
Compared to Trump, dude.
People, ma'am, you have never done anything for black people, and you're not a clear representation of a good quality woman. And we can go over her history, but I'll save that for another time. But these people are patronizing young black men. Obama comes out and says, well, y'all are against women. That's why you don't want to. No, we're not stupid anymore. We're sick of these people promising things that they're never going to deliver on. And Kamala Harris, at the 11th hour, is now rolling out Lizzo. Big Lizzo got on a private jet, cussing and swearing, and her lyrics are degenerate. You got Eminem is degenerate.
Eminem's a degenerate.
All of these celebrities, those are not the average everyday person. These celebrities are not worrying about what they're going to eat.
I hate to break it to you. I'm pretty sure most Americans probably have a favorable view of Eminem. I don't think they think he's a degenerate, okay? He may not be most people, but pretty sure a lot of people to see him at the whatever rally in Michigan are like, hey, that's cool, Eminem's at the rally. I don't think they view it as a bad thing, buddy.
Wealthy, and they're not connecting with the people, and that's why Donald Trump is kicking her butt. And if it wasn't for lies and deception and coercion by the media and all of that, Donald Trump will be winning by 20 points right now.
Right, but the truth is he's not, and it is very, very close. If we bring back David here, David, the thing is,
okay, finally, thank you, please.
For the pathological violence, but they went out and spoke to people in the street, and this happened.
Trump talks about this a lot. He says, Kamala Harris became black when it was convenient.
Right.
Can you talk to me about? Do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her blackness?
Absolutely. When she sworn to the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
Which is
Oh my
fine.
God,
We don't care.
kill me.
We all know she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
I mean, David, that's pretty devastating when you hear that for Kamala Harris, isn't it?
That's devastating.
It's basically using them as a community.
Those two people did say that, but if you look at any public opinion survey, this is not ranking anywhere, and there still seems to be confusion about the concept of being biracial. But no, I don't think that's really devastating at all. And in fact, I think that I don't know what interviews Brandon's been watching, but she just did an interview yesterday with NBC where she was almost goaded by the interviewer.
Does you even say she's black? Yeah. What? She's half black, half Indian. She says so. I don't think she has said that. I'm pretty sure she has. Also, what's up, Liberty Twitcher? Welcome to the stream.
I'm running on policy, and then people can judge the identity however they want. She's stepped away from identity politics, which I think is fantastic, by the way.
David, let me ask you this.
Politics as a cudgel.
David, let me ask you this. One of the things she stands for, along with Joe Biden, is she has done nothing while they've been in office to stem this, in my view, horrendously unfair situation of trans athletes competing in
Oh my
sports.
God, that's our big issue here still. Kill me.
Astonishing survey has just come out today by the United Nations that reveals that female athletes have lost 900 medals to transgender rivals competing against them in women's sporting categories. This is a UN report. 600 female athletes in more than 400 competitions have lost nearly 900 medals in 29 different sports. When the average American sees that both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris now support this unfairness, and that's what it is. It's just unfair. It's nothing to do with being transphobic or anything else. It's just unfair.
What do they even do on this? Didn't they? First of all, he's talking about the UN, so I'm assuming this is that wasn't just in America, right? He just said 900 medals.
Rivals competing against them in women's sporting categories. This is a UN report.
Is that in America, or is that like in the Olympics, or what is that in? I don't know if it's a UN report. Oh my God, kill me. This is our big issue right now. Actually, Wall Street Journal opined that men competing in women's sports is a sleeper issue, pushing women to Republicans. It's just like it really should not be. Like I literally don't know. It really is if you're a mom. It really should not be in comparison to like anything Trump did. What has Biden and Harris even done on it? I'm pretty sure all they did was extend Title IX protection to trans people. I'm pretty sure that's all they did. I'm like, the federal just blocked it. I think this is all they did. Biden was protecting trans students take effect, not everywhere. Like, I think all it did was like, hey, you can't just entirely ban transgender people from competing in sports at all. Pretty sure that's all it did.
I mean,
oh my God.
By a report like that from the UN. That's one of her problems too, is that people think they're supporting the indefensible. They lack basic common sense. What do you say to that?
I'm struggling to think that you're taking this any more seriously than as something that might generate clicks on YouTube, Piers.
Wow, you don't think that's serious?
Well,
you don't think it's serious?
Hold on a second. The vast majority of those instances in the UN report are outside the United States. And
okay, it is outside the United States.
President or Vice President of the United States at its face. And secondly, I would challenge you to tell me the quotes that Biden or Harris have put forward wherein they have weighed in on how sports leagues should be handling these decisions. But 92% of that study is not even in the U.S. So I don't even know why you're bringing this up.
What's that got to do with the principle of the principle?
I'm sorry?
What's that got to do with the principle?
Well, the principle is you're saying Kamala Harris and Biden have come out in support of this.
They do. They support policies which actively protect. They
support Title IX protection for trans people. I'm pretty sure it's the only
athletes performing in women's sport, and I think that is madness. You're saying, well, because most of these things in this UN report were outside of America, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
What I'm saying, it's a completely contrived issue that almost no one cares about in every single opinion poll.
Wow. You see, I think that's incredibly deluded. People do care about it.
Oh my God!
It just doesn't show up in any opinion poll as a primary issue. Not top 10, not top 20.
Out of interest, do you
care about it?
Out of interest,
it doesn't show up in a single poll.
What's your view? Do you think it's fair?
I think that it depends
Why
on
don't
the
schools
sport.
with women
and I think we need
napkins
to
in
talk
boys'
about
restrooms
this
is a
for probably
real
90
issue.
minutes to really
Dems
have
are
a
getting to
conversation.
blame
Really?
for
So when you saw
that.
the
Are you
Paris
kidding me?
Olympics and you saw 2 gold medal winners and women's
I mean,
boxing?
Pakman just mentioned, yeah, it doesn't really, like, we have opinion polls in this. Like, the biggest issues are the economy and immigration. Like, trans people is not even top 10.
Actually were born with biological male chromosomes. Do you think that's right?
That is not the truth as far as I understand it. I
Really?
don't know who you're talking about. If you can name them, then maybe we can get into more detail.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Tampon Tim, true.
Well, tell me. Tell me who you're talking about.
I can't remember their exact names. There were 2 gold medal winners. Well, I can find them now if it helps you. I don't know why the names matter.
The one who was the source of a lot of viral articles was born a woman, always lived as a woman,
What was
always
her name?
competed as a woman. I'm sorry?
What was her name?
Imani something.
All right, so you don't know either. So don't be quite so patronizing if you don't know either.
Oh my God.
The truth is-
Well, you're bringing it up here. See, here's the
truth
thing.
is-
Hold on a second, Piers. Hold on a second. You do this all the time, Piers. You bring something up, and then you evaluate your guest's opinion as to how much it matters. You brought it. If it doesn't actually matter, don't bring it up.
No, just to be clear, you were haranguing me for not remembering the name. I said the name's irrelevant. What's relevant is whether the gold medal winners have biological male chromosomes when they're getting into
My
a boxing
understanding
ring
is they do
and
not.
punching women in the face so hard that one of the women competitors, a female, quit after 45 seconds.
Yes,
because she'd
in
never
that
been hit that
instance,
hard.
there is nothing to the story that the boxer that prevailed was ever a man.
Wow.
Just nothing.
True.
You know
Nothing.
that
There's no evidence.
You
of
know
it.
that
It was
you
a
know that
viral
boxer
rape.
There's literally none.
Right.
Yes,
Based on-
correct.
hang on,
you
Yes,
know that-
everyone lost their minds about it for no reason. Correct. Hold on. Destiny has good notes on this, actually. There's like nothing. There's like literally nothing on it ever. Okay, thank you. I don't know. Maybe delete. Oh, Olympic trans canal. Here it is.
boxer was banned for
There's no credible evidence whatsoever Khalifa is trans or intersexed. IBA has been an organization that has been plagued with scandals for many years, hence their eventual withdrawal from the IOC in 2023. IBA is likely influenced significantly by Russia as the CEO since December 12, 2020. Also that it came out that one of the stories about sexual assaults allegedly by Tim Waltz was just Russian propaganda. Russian propaganda unit appears to be behind spread of false Tim Waltz sexual abuse claims. The Russian propaganda was behind this one too, buddy. Like, Trump has been very still been repeating the Olympic story at every rally claim they transition. Oh, obviously, of course. Not
the
surprising.
World Championships precisely because there is evidence. You know that, right?
Yes. Do you know the details of that, Piers? Do you know? Tell the full story. Go ahead. Tell the full story.
That boxer was banned, along with the other one, from the World Championships because it has been reported that they tested positive for male chromosomes, right? If you know better, tell me.
That's not the full.
Syrian boxer Imran Khalif is accused of online being a trans female Italian fighter who gave up to 40 seconds in the first round of boxing match in the Paris Olympics on August 15th. UNICEF top female boxer Imran Khalif dreams of gold despite young people. Two female boxers who were DQ'd by the International Boxing Association last year in New Delhi for failing to meet eligibility rules because it was proven they had XY chromosomes. The IOC does not test for gender, and there's no evidence that Khalif or Lynn have XY chromosomes or elevated levels of testosterone. They both competed in prior championships, including at the Tokyo Olympics. In 2023, the IBA president Umar Kremlev told TASS, a Russian news agency, that boxers were given DNA tests. George A. Don't know pronounce that one. The IBA CEO and Secretary General at the time said both women failed 2 different tests. No specific information was given to what the lab tests were for, and the IBA released a statement that the woman didn't undergo testosterone examination, but a separate recognized test.
I do know better, and I will tell you. That was done by a Russian lab who had an
True.
interest in
Yes, thank you.
disqualifying her
Yes.
because it jeopardized the undefeated record of a Russian boxer. It's that's all they have, and it's totally debunked. Piers, I thought you were better than this.
It's not
my friend.
debunked, and you'll regret saying that because it's true. Let me go to Kevin. Kevin, I have a common sense test with this stuff. One of the things Trump is very good at, his instincts are very commonsensical. You can hate some of the rhetoric, and I do when he goes off sometimes at people. But what you can't deny is
you can
instincts for
say
what
it's
average
common sense, but a lot of it is common sense because voter epistemology. It's horrible. Like, voters here, like, bring prices down, and they cheer that on because they don't understand what a deflationary spiral is. Voters here, make China pay tariffs, get rid of income tax, and make China pay it. They hear that and think it's good because they don't understand how tariffs work. They don't understand that they are the ones that actually pay tariffs, and tariffs are going to decrease GDP and probably not even really help American manufacturing all that much.
Normally pretty spot on. And he said recently, I think last week, he would ban all trans athletes from women's sport. Do you think it matters or not?
You know, I actually enjoyed that narrative you two just had, and I have a solution that I think you'll both agree with, and I think we could settle this issue forever. Globally,
what it's gonna be.
we know almost 40 years ago that we started testing for doping, for example, and we exclude cyclists in Olympics that are doping, and we found other drugs that we exclude, tested by Olympic testers. So why don't we just settle this and create
Don't we
the
test for
transgender
testosterone in the Olympics
so if
right
you start
now?
in one gender and you switch to another, you join this third category,
Yeah.
and you go at it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody would agree with that. And I think it'd make it very easy, and it's tested by DNA, and that would be it, because I also agree it's kind of unfair if you take a man and change him into a woman using today's technology, and he pounds the crap out of somebody in a boxing ring, or she does. That's not fair. It doesn't make common sense.
Oh my God,
and
kill me.
that goes through to this thing you're talking about with Trump. He's authentic. You know, I had this narrative with my daughter yesterday in New York, and we really were heated. And I said, do you agree that he has no filter? He just puts out what's on his mind, and you know with certainty that's what's on his mind. And she said, that I agree with. He has no filter, and he's authentic. Now, if you don't like that, don't vote for him.
Yeah.
The people are on your
Authentic?
side.
I think it's one way to...
I don't feel...
It's just like, he never speaks presidentially at all, first of all. You can see the way, you can see like the mashup that like the Tonight Show or whatever did with his assassination of al-Baghdadi versus Obama talking about the assassination of bin Laden. Like clearly, like Obama spoke way more presidentially. Trump went on like an unhinged 40-minute ramble. Any like podcast or like any interview Trump does, he never gives good answers. All he does is he literally has started calling it the weave. He rambles incoherently and just says, oh, I'm weaving. I call it the weave. Everyone loves the weave. And all he says is America first and tariffs. And that's all he says. Like he still lies about the election to this day. It's just so kill me, dude.
The same way about the other candidate. I respect VP Harris, but it seems to me she's trying to process every single sentence, and I'm a little worried about something. For me to get the actual data on her pricing policy, of which I have many investments in food services, I have to call Mark Cuban and ask him, you're obviously stumping for her, you're a shill for her. What the hell is she talking about? Should I be worried? And he said, no.
Like, what? We don't even know. I'm like, what? All Trump's only like economic policy is like no tax on a bunch of random things. Who knows how much that's even going to be able to get past the Senate, and tariffs. And he won't even commit. He won't even commit to what percent the tariff should be at.
You don't have to worry about this. It's a crazy policy. It'll never happen. Okay, well, that's not good. Why can't she say that herself? Or 28% taxes, or unrealized gains on capital. I got to call Cuban for the answer.
Wait, by the way, she doesn't. She like walked that unrealized gains thing back. Like it's not even in her 82-page economic plan.
Luckily, I know the guy. Maybe he should be the president.
Yeah, you know what? At least he probably had the answers. I mean, Bo, let me flip it around on you here. For your generation, what are the things that Donald Trump does or says which you don't agree with?
Also, that plan clarifies that the anti-price gouging thing. It's just talking about laws that like 44 out of 50 states already have. Even Texas already has laws like these. It's really not a big deal.
Having an honest, frank discussion with him, do you tell him what you should steer clear of?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of the vaccine stuff, I wasn't too fond of. Some of his more pro-choice stances I wasn't too fond of because I'm very pro-life. I do think it's funny how the media paints him as someone who's too pro-life and on all these things when, I don't agree with a lot of his. He's pro-choice in many ways. So, I think there's...
AKA he flip-flops on abortion issues when it turns out people start not liking him for it.
And myself definitely agree with. But I think most of all, you're 100% right when you said he hits on those things that we really care about. I don't know what David thinks he's saying when he says that no one cares about transgender athletes in sports. That could not be further from the truth. I was just talking to a UFC fighter last night, Colby
it's literally okay. Voters top concern. What's up, Ness?
Hey, so I just got 3 notifications saying that Ian and Landon have joined Snapchat.
Yeah, I got those too.
And did Ian like get locked out of the first account because it says he has 2 accounts?
Yeah, I know. He might have. I don't know. Why did you get those notifications too? What the hell?
I don't know, but I screenshotted it. I screenshotted it because I thought it was funny. It said, I forget. I didn't screenshot the notification, but I screenshotted my quick ad.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why they joined.
Ian Kaufman 24, Landon Kauf M 2024, and then Ian _ Kaufman 24.
Dude, I remember when my parents got super mad when I first joined Snapchat. I'm adding both of them right now. I'm assuming the one with the Bitmoji.
Tell Landon to follow me back on TikTok. I'm getting sick of this.
I don't know why he won't. I guess I can. Yeah, I'll tell him.
Good. I'll tell him on Snapchat if he adds me back, which he probably won't.
Okay, is that all you need to do?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I was gonna text you that, but I felt like it would be funnier if I joined stream.
It was funnier.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye, chat.
Bye, chat.
Bye, Jared.
Economy, healthcare, Supreme Court appointments, foreign policy, violent crime, immigration, gun policy, abortion, racial and ethnic inequality, climate change. Notably, not transgender athletes. Not even like a broader LGBTQ rights. Inflation, free speech, healthcare, abortion, crime, Supreme Court appointments, education, immigration, foreign conflict or terrorism, climate change, racial and ethnic inequality. So also not transgender athletes, and again, not even just a broader LGBTQ rights.
Is that it's awful? You know, it's brutal. We have men transitioning to women, and they're joining like UFC thing, not Dana White's UFC, but they're joining MMA in other leagues, and they're beating the crap out of biological women, and it's brutal. And I mean, I guess at a certain point, you know, it's just what our country's going to allow happen.
It is a Shark Tank guy.
And he's acting like it's nothing to do with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, like they don't support it. But I mean, it was Kamala Harris's.
Economy, democracy, terrorism, Supreme Court, immigration, education, healthcare, gun policy, taxes, crime, distribution of wealth, federal budget deficits, foreign affairs, situation between Israel and Palestine, energy policy, relations with Russia, race relations, trade with China, or trade with other nations, climate change. Finally, we got one. Transgender rights at the very bottom of one Gallup poll and not in any of the other things. Wow. Oh my God.
VP pick Tim Walz, who was putting tampons in men's bathrooms, you know, in boys' schools. So, you know, I think we know what they support and what side.
Yeah, it's literally not it's the bottom issue for like everything. It's a little higher here.
And I think that Trump has 100% done a more than phenomenal job showing us his policy, showing us what he cares about and what he's passionate about, and showing us that he's not going to let this stuff happen.
Marianne, two things for you. One, the clip we showed earlier of Joe Biden saying lock him up about Trump. I thought that was pretty ill-advised. He tried to scramble and say, I meant politically, but actually he said what he said, and we know what he meant. He does mean it. He would like to see Trump locked up.
But Trump doesn't mean when he says lock people up.
No,
and who actually, like Trump actually tried to get a lot of investigations into people. He also Bill Barr shut down when Trump was being investigated for like the $10 million payment from Egypt. Bill Barr made sure to get rid of that. I'm pretty sure that was at the behest of Trump as well. I don't remember exactly though, but like, kill me. Finding greater than me, I instantly skipped over that Jubilee video because I knew exactly how it was going to turn out. Yeah, it was wild, but 10 case that individual brings a pattern, clear focus. After Mr. Trump repeatedly made public or private demands for them to be targeted by the government, they face federal pressure. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he went after, I'm pretty sure it was, didn't he go on Fox and Friends? Or was it not Fox and Friends? Was it a different thing? Comey, what Trump wanted done. Mr. Trump publicly called Mr. Comey a traitor and pressured for him to be investigated and prosecuted for disclosing classified information. Oh, he tried to get Robert Mueller fired too. They probably mentioned that here, but Hillary Clinton. Mr. Trump publicly called for Ms. Clinton and her campaign to be criminally prosecuted, privately pressured Mr. Sessions to investigate and prosecute Ms. Clinton. Cohen, obviously. Bolton. Oh, they don't even mention Mueller, but I don't think he wanted Mueller to be prosecuted, I guess, but I think he wanted Mueller to be fired, right?
No, it was a mistake. He knew it was a mistake. But let's remember also this man is a convicted felon, and he's yet to be sentenced.
True.
So on the issue of whether or not Biden should have said that, obviously he should not.
But
have.
he shouldn't be.
Yeah, Trump ordered Mueller fired, but backed off when people threatened to resign. Yeah, White House counsel threatened to quit.
Felon for the offence that they went after him for. I thought it was pathetic and embarrassing that the first American president to ever be dragged through a criminal court is dragged through a criminal court over shuffling a bit of paperwork over an alleged one-night stand with a porn star 18 years ago. That is just completely
Kill me.
demeaning to America. And the fact that it was allowed to happen and encouraged and promoted by Democrats, I thought was, again, a stratospherically bad act of self-harm.
It's just Michael Cohen testified that, first of all, like, shuffling papers over a one-night stand with a porn star. He paid off Stormy Daniels using falsified business records. He used falsified business records to cover up a payment to Stormy Daniels, which I believe, like, the reason it's felony, right, is because he falsified business records to cover up another crime, which was, hush money to Stormy Daniels, right? Like, oh my God. And it only happened after Michael Cohen had to testify about everything. And I remember, I forget the name of the prosecutor who was like literally specifically like, I will go where the facts lead me. Like,
most average Americans are like, really? Really? You're going to try and put an American president, they've only been 45, 46, you're going to try and put him in prison for a one-night stand with a porn star 20 years ago? Have we gone nuts? And if you're going to start putting people in prison for that kind of thing, how's Bill Clinton still out there?
Well, I agree with you that it was an act of self-harm on the part of the Democrats. But the larger issue is not about that. The larger issue is about the things that he stands for now. There's been a lot of conversation over the last few minutes about the things that matter much more. I agree with Kevin. What Kevin was talking about, a transgender, for instance, Olympics, I agree with that. And I've been
there's only an office to paying off horses, but it was official too. True.
He is authentic, but sometimes he's authentically a jerk. And what the president...
That's what happens when you're authentic, Marianne. I think that's the point Kevin is making. You can hate him for it. You can hate some of the stuff he says. And yes, he is a jerk sometimes. But he's a kind of honest jerk. He just blurts out what he thinks.
Yeah. Well, the point is, if you're just going out for dinner with someone, you have a drink with somebody, and they're authentically a jerk, it can almost be amusing. What the words of the President of the United States says are important. But the larger issue here is Kamala Harris. We need some of that core passion coming from her. We need to hear, even on the transgender issue, sometimes people don't care what your policy issue is, but they want to hear your passion about it. Donald Trump talks to people about the things that are going on. For David Pakman to say, Americans aren't thinking about the trans issue, I'm sorry, David, they're definitely thinking.
Oh my God, we just looked at literally 20 different polls and transgender issues was at the very bottom of one of them.
About it. And she, regardless of her beliefs about things, go out there and talk about your beliefs about things. Don't just say I come from the middle class and I care for an opportunity economy.
We're still
about what's going on in their lives, about food. The day that Bobby Kennedy
she did the CNN town hall and she's talking about all these things.
Endorsed Donald Trump the next day. The Democratic Party should have come out with a food security issue that would knock your socks off. When President Trump went to McDonald's, which was, I'm sorry, a brilliant move. The things that David said, Trump should have said. No, Kamala should have said. Should have said, let's talk about what the real truth is about the economic conditions about people.
Didn't Kamala Harris literally, wasn't she the tie-breaking vote on the obviously the federal minimum wage isn't $15 an hour yet, but did you watch the Piers Trump interview? Did he do it already? No, I don't think so. Did he? I didn't know he did one. I thought when did he do it? What? I don't think that's happened yet, has it? I know he's been wanting to, but Kamala Harris tie breaking vote, $15 an hour minimum wage. I'm pretty sure obviously the federal minimum wage isn't $15 an hour, but there was a it was like putting it like in a blueprint to be raised by 2025 or whatever. First legislative test on a pro-worker cause since the Democrats nearly showed control of the Senate and split 50-50 in partisan lines about whether to raise federal minimum wage. So Vice President Kamala Harris breaking the tie. The wage hike stays in the budget blueprint at being advanced by the Democrats. Okay, yeah. So she was a tie-breaking vote on, raising a minimum wage to $15 an hour in the budget blueprint by 2025 or whatever. And then, what is this? Harris unveils support for $15 minimum wage after slamming Trump's McDonald's visit. Okay, wow, cool. She must have watched the Piers Morgan panel, but
and she needs to speak from her heart and from her passion, and that is how the Democrats will win.
Okay,
it might have been an old interview then, Colin Sneaky.
Who's been having an old ding-dong with Musk for quite a while now. Musk is now promising daily $1 million prizes to registered voters in battleground states who sign a petition, which is produced by his Donald Trump supporting Political Action Committee. Let's take a little clip of Elon talking about this.
I have a surprise for you, which is that we're going to be awarding $1 million randomly to people who have signed the petition every day from now until the election. One of the challenges we're having is how do we get people to know about this petition? Because the legacy media won't report on it. Not everyone's on X. So So I figure, how do we get people to know about it? Well, this news I think is going to really fly.
I don't know about you, Kevin. I thought you feel slightly uneasy about the world's richest man just chucking millions of dollars at people to register to vote. What did you think?
Well, again, for full transparency and disclosure, my son works at Tesla in California for Elon. And I've met him a few times. You know, just some background on this. I don't believe it to be illegal. What he's basically saying is, I want to motivate people to go out and vote. He's not telling them who to vote for. He just wants them to
sign a petition that's like literally made by Trump's PAC. But okay.
Trump would like to get Elon Musk, should he win, into a role in the administration to seek efficiencies. And there are different kind of people in life that I've learned in investing in many managers and entrepreneurs and working for some of them. And I would say there's the idea of signal and noise. And so if you think I worked for Steve Jobs, not a very nice guy, but he was 90% signal during the day and 10% noise. Noise being distractions that he would agree to be distracted by during the working day. And his working day was 20 hours. And he wasn't that social a guy. And look what he achieved. Now Elon Musk, I know with certainty, is 100% signal. I've never met a man like that, and look what he's achieved. It's unprecedented, and he would be a profound force if set free to go work on government to find inefficiencies, and I'd like to see that happen. But he's, got social issues around being 100%.
You know what, like I came up with this analogy a little bit ago. I haven't used it yet, but like, is the Department of Government Efficiency, like, in principle bad? Probably not. But like, I don't think like, my analogy would be like, should we want AOC investigating war crimes like by Israel to determine whether we should give them aid? Like, I don't think any conservative would trust AOC to do that. So why on earth would I be trusting like Elon Musk and a bunch of his fucking cronies to do this? Like, really?
Signal. But do I think he should be involved with Trump? Does it make Trump a better administrator? Does it make his administration more powerful? 100%. We don't know how much Elon will be engaged, but you can't deny what this man's achieved. There's never been an entrepreneur like him.
Yeah, I agree. If you look at Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, I mean, all of it is unbelievable. I listened to him. I met him in...
well, I say release the hounds.
Yeah.
Release the hounds. Release them onto the hill and let's see what happens.
I think it could be absolutely fascinating. Bo, when Elon did Joe Rogan, he famously smoked a spliff, a marijuana spliff. Donald Trump famously has never had a drink, never had a drug. Is this a moment when he finally gets a doobie out?
Yeah, I bet.
Well, that'd be interesting for sure. Might win him some voters, and that's another thing. Actually, Trump. I believe I might be wrong on this. I believe he's going to say yes on a thing in Florida that's going to legalize marijuana, which I personally don't agree with. But I think it's interesting. I think young people are very interested in that too, of course. So that'd be very interesting for sure.
And then Kamala Harris has also come out marijuana for marijuana legalization. But all right.
Great panel. Thank you all very much indeed. Appreciate it.
Kill me. They did not let Dave Pakman talk enough. Oh my god, he could have epically debunked a million of the dumbass talking points that all these people blurted out. Which is just not true at all. Okay, well, I gotta be on top of my fucking YouTube game, so I gotta go edit those videos. Otherwise, I would stream longer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love streaming. Love you guys watch me stream. If you have not followed, make sure to follow so you guys will catch the next stream when I stream again tomorrow. Yeah, again, I love streaming. Love you guys watch me stream. I guess head over to Kid Not Kin. Yeah, thank you guys. Also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go sub to the YouTube channel so I can get monetized. Thank you. See you, Golden Sneaky. Thank you, chat. Bye, chat. I already have a kid on my other table. All right, see you guys.